Recording. Okay, the first step is to take all the screws out of the back panel so that we can remove this frame. And after you remove this frame, it's a good idea to get a cell phone or a digital camera, because we're going to have to take some photographs of the wire connections so that we can put them back in the right order. So here, this happens to be a Sintra Plus. A Sintra Standard is actually a little bit easier because you don't have this ribbon cable up at the top. But first, separate the ribbon cable connector from the USB port. And now you can move the wires so that all the wires are hanging down straight. This is the time where you want to take out your digital camera and snap a few photographs of the wire configurations so you kind of know where they go to and where they came from. So snap a few photos, and after you do that, then you can proceed to disconnect the wires. Let's get the AC power, these two wires, out of the way. And then we can take this little piece of tubing out of here, push down on the ring and pull the tubing out like this. You can also disconnect these two little wires from the solenoid valve. If they give you a hard time, just take a little screwdriver like this and pry them off. There we go. Now the final thing is to remove these two black wires from the power inlet coming in, and also the ground connection. Now we also have two more wires coming from the fuses. So now that this is out of the way, we can just move this to the side. The first step in taking the Eurotherm module out is to loosen up the wires. You need a common screwdriver. You might have to look around to get one with the tip narrow enough to fit in the slots for the screws. It's very important when you put the Eurotherm back in that you make these screw connections very tight. So here you can say we pull these out, and we can take out the two on the bottom. And there's also a little orange connector that has to be removed. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to unlock the Eurotherm module so that we can remove it from the DIN rail that's holding it in place. Here you see we have a Eurotherm module that we are going to install, and underneath the module you can see this clip. It's designed for a screwdriver blade to go into, and when you pull the clip down like that, it unlocks this sliding mechanism on the back. Here you can see it unlocked. And once you pull that down, you can easily remove the Eurotherm module. So we're going to fish underneath here, find that locking clip. We're going to pull it down. Now the Eurotherm module is easily removed. A little bit of a tricky part here. We have some ground wires that need to be disconnected and reattached. It might be easier if you move that side cover out of the way. Here we can just take the screwdriver, remove these ground wires. What I usually do is just take off the whole little locking clip with the screw in it. So now we have the Eurotherm completely removed. Now we're going to reverse the procedure and install the Eurotherm. Remember the sliding contact here. If it's a little bit too difficult to move, take a little bit of Vaseline and just rub it in those grooves and around here, and it'll make it much easier to slide. So the first thing we want to do is to just organize our wires, and we are going to connect the ground first. So we take the ground wires with our new Eurotherm, we put them in the clip. After you get a couple of turns on the screws, you're on your way. Just tighten that clip down nice and snug. like so. Now, we need to get the wire leads into the bottom. Also make sure that your screws are out far enough so that you can get the wire connections into the locking mechanism of the Eurotherm module. So we're just going to get these two in here. Takes a little bit of dexterity to get it where they need to go. And make sure they go in all the way, like such. And once you get them in there, take those screws, lock them in. After it's fully installed, we'll recheck and sock down the screws really hard. But our bottom two are there. Now we can connect this little orange connector. There's the orange connector. And now the two for the top power. And make sure you have blue to blue and brown to brown. Notice the blue on the top and the blue in the bottom are on the right, and the browns, two browns are on the left. Make sure your connections go all the way inside of the port. Snug them for now. Now, our Eurotherm is on the DIN rail. You have to hook it on the top, push it in on the bottom. And after you do this, you need to reach under with the screwdriver, push up on that clip, and you notice now it's locked in place. At this time, you can really tighten down those screws. You want to tighten them down as tight as you can, almost to the point of breaking the screw. Don't break the screw, but make it as tight as you can. These are high power connections. They will get hot if the connections are too loose. And this completes the installation of the Eurotherm. Now it's a question of just putting the back cover on and reconnecting the AC power where you had it before. But if you took enough photos the first time you did it, you should have no problem. Another little trick could be to just wrap the little pieces of masking tape around it, mark them, and put matching pieces of tape on the points that you took them from. But it's very important that you get these back in the same configuration. That's it for changing the Eurotherm. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you.